Hello there and welcome back to some more Gran Turismo 5. Today we're continuing Let's Play. This is episode 2. In today's episode we are taking a look at the A license test. So let's go ahead and get into it. Our first test, A1, is the 400 meter stopping challenge, which of course you might remember in license B we had the 200 meter stopping challenge. So this is that, but twice as long. With a car that's twice as quick, this Audi TT is reasonably rapid, and the key to this test is essentially trial and error. Just run it a few times just so you can get a feel for where your braking distance is. Obviously this being a quicker car means that you will need to start braking earlier, but it does have slightly better brakes than the Yaris. So again, trial and error, you'll figure this out. I sort of messed that up and still got silver, so getting gold on this shouldn't really be too much of a problem, but yeah, that's just the way that test works. Next up, we've got A2, approaching a blind corner with this Mazda Atenza, and the key to this one is essentially just send it round the corner. Ignore the driving line. To be fair, I probably should turn the driving line off considering it's entirely pointless, but I don't for a long time in the series, as you'll find out. But essentially you want to be braking when the driving line's telling you to get back on the power. Essentially, you just want to brake as late as you can into this corner because it's not a particularly difficult set of corners. But yeah, just sort of send it straight into there, carry as much speed as possible, and you'll do alright in this one. Again, that wasn't too far off the gold time either. I should stress, like with the B license, I'm only going for silvers just because going for golds takes a while and I haven't really got the patience to do that, and also some of the gold prizes, or for the most part the gold prizes, just simply don't interest me. If you want to see a full run through of the gold way of doing these licenses, Rhino GT4 on YouTube is the guy you need to go to. Anyways, A3, the Cone Slalom. Fuck this test. This test is absolute wank. This has been in, I think, every single Gran Turismo game since GT2, and in GT2 it was fuck awful, in GT3 it was fuck awful, in GT4 it was fuck awful, and in this game it's fuck awful. Essentially you want to be third gear, sort of on and off the throttle. I couldn't tell you how to get the gold time on that, because the gold time is insane. 20 seconds, I got 20.8, and I think I tackled that pretty much perfectly, so you need a nigh on perfect run to get a gold on that one. So yeah, don't recommend that, I'll be honest. A4, tackling the Monza circuit chicane. And how do you tackle the Monza circuit chicane? Well, you do what any reasonable Gran Turismo player does anytime they encounter a corner. You just cut the shit out of it, essentially on this one. It's, yeah, not too difficult. Well, you do get penalised in license tests for going off the track. That's only if you go off on the grass. If you go off on any other surface, the game's not really that bothered, so as a result you can run to this green runoff area right here. Technically, I didn't actually do it, but you can cut across that literal entire thing and straight line it and get a gold very easily. So just go ahead and do that, and that's probably the line you'll be taking at Monza for the rest of the game. So it's good training, certainly, for how your time at Monza is going to be going, because yeah, you can just cut that and the game doesn't care. A5, tackling continuous urban right angles. What a very, very long name. And ironically enough, it's a very long name for what is an incredibly easy test. This is... You'll probably get gold by accident on this one, in all honesty, because yeah, it's just incredibly easy. Just a quick sort of left-right, and then you're done. You can cut the curbs a little bit, and as you can see there, that wasn't a particularly great run, and I still got the gold by over a tenth of a second. So yeah, it's not a difficult test, that one. The London track, not really many people's favourites, but in terms of getting licenses gold, it's not a bad one. A6, we got a lot of tackling today. Tackling a set of undulating corners, and it's in another Mazda, and just like with the previous Mazda, the key to this one is just sending it again. I love this track trial mountain, because it really is just a test of how big your bollocks are through this section, just sort of trying to stay flat out throughout the entire thing, and in a car that's as lowly powered as this MX-5 you can do such a thing. The key to getting gold on that one is probably being more smooth with your inputs. I wasn't as smooth as you can be. I think I tackled it pretty well, but yeah, it's definitely just a key of going, sort of minimizing your inputs, considering, yeah, the key to that one is just literally as much speed as possible. No braking, just speed. That's the way to do it. Driving a mountainous dirt track, A7. Now, this one is interesting. It's the first dirt license test we have in this game, and curiously they stick you in a front-wheel drive Focus ST, which isn't really much of a rallying machine. Essentially with this one, just don't be as careful as you'd think you have to be. Just because you're in a front-wheel drive car, you might want to try and minimise wheel spin off the line by being really gentle on the throttle. Don't bother with any of that. Being on dirt definitely affects your traction, but it does not affect your traction as much as you may think. As you can see there, you can still take a reasonable amount of speed through the corners. So yeah, just don't be as careful as your brain tells you to be. License tests that involve dirt in Gran Turismo games are usually renowned for being pretty darn easy, and yeah, in this case it is just that. It's just a case of just turning that sensible part of your brain off that's telling you this is a front wheel drive car, don't drive it that quickly. Yeah, just turn that off because it's bollocks. A8, tackling the Schumacher S. There is a specific way to do this in order to get the absolute best line from it and get gold. I've done it a few times. I didn't do it this time, and I can't actually remember what that is. But there's a way to do this where you can essentially carry as much speed through as possible. I believe it's something to do with minimizing your entry speed and maximizing exit speed, which is usually what you're supposed to do on corners. But yeah, there is a specific way to get gold on that, and I think you actually get gold by a fair margin as well, despite the short test. But yeah, I failed to do so on that, so not very helpful. I apologise. A9, using braking to overtake on a corner. This is a repeat of a test that we did in the B license at Fuji, except this time we have the corner to deal with. And curiously, unlike last time where it was just all about the straight, having the corner in there is actually a lot easier, because if you can't get past all these cars, you could just go for an incredible dive bomb Max Verstappen style and just cut people off. So that works. Anyways, it's just a case of slipstreaming and a late braking. The Peugeot will start to pull away from you, so essentially you just want to position yourself in the middle of these cars. The more cars you've got rolling, you've got a sort of rolling resistance air block, and in fact all of the cars are essentially reasonable on their speed. As you can see there, I sort of went across the entire corner to cut off anyone who's taking the proper line through this corner, to stop them going for it. So, and that's how you get gold on that. Like I say, pretty straightforward. Just use some slipstream down the straight, but you're not going to catch anything like last time. So yeah, like I say, just go full Verstappen and you'll be fine when it comes to that one. And finally, A10, high-speed ring, the one-lap battle. We've got the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10 for this, which is a curious choice. And unlike a lot of these one-lap battles, the car that is the quickest starts in front. That's where your Skylines and your Supras are. Essentially, the key to this one is the first corner is incredibly important here. You do not want to be held up behind a car. The AI have a weird way of taking this corner. They brake halfway through it, and, well, they slow down halfway through, I should say, lift. And as a result, you don't want to be behind any of them because they will just slow you down. So it's that corner. This corner you can get a lot of cars on as well. Just go as far down the inside as you possibly can, and you'll be able to jump a fair chunk of the queue. You should be able to get another 3 cars through these S-Pens here, as you can see. Again, it's just all about sending it. That's what this license test section is all about. I actually managed to get the Skyline here as well, which is quite impressive, and that puts us right on the arse end of the NSX, which is good. So we're going to use the NSX's slipstream to go all the way down to the final corner to get the Supra. Now, the Supra, you have to get it before the last bend, or rather, as you can see here, I think I get him about halfway into it. If you are behind the Supra all down the straight, you have no chance, because the Supra does have better straight line speed. Realistically, you actually want to be in front of him before that, but as you can see, I'm just sort of checking my mirror to make sure he's not coming back at me. But the Supra definitely has the edge in straight line speed, so you want to get him either before that last bend or like halfway through it. If you leave it any longer than that, you have no chance of catching that car, which is an issue. Anyways, we've leveled up to level 6 during all of that, which is very good, means we can get access to a fair few more special events, which is always good. And as we exit out of the B license, of course, we're going to get the woman to tell us exactly where we're going next.
Congratulations, you've completed the A license. Now you can enter more races and prepare yourself for the next challenge, the International C license.
We're not going to be preparing ourselves for the International C license for a long old while though, because we're actually going to get in some racing. Anyways, we reach level 5, level 6, the AMG Driving Academy is available, and we get the MMR Cup car, the Atenza concept, and that is our lot. I should mention, for getting all golds in the A license, you get the Isuzu 4200 R89 concept, which is a premium car, actually kind of a nice car, so it might be worth suffering through the golds to get it, but ultimately I didn't. I also forgot to mention in the previous episode, for all of the B license golds, you'd get the Tommy Kyra ZZS, which is a standard car, and also alright, but you know, that's less rare. So let's check out the spoils of war, the Nissan MMR Cup car, 133 brake horsepower. Pretty decent car for the lower speed events. Other than that, not too much use. A rather dorky looking thing, it has to be said. And the Mazda Atenza concept, one of my personal favourites from the Gran Turismo franchise, 163 horsepower. I've loved this thing ever since GT4. I'd often replay the Sunday Cup over and over again just to get a blue one. But as you can see here, we've got a yellow one. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Next time we're going to be taking a look at the Gran Turismo karting experience in the special event, so join us for that. Until then, a farewell.
Yes, I will stay here for a while, for I need the break, a break from the brushes of life, and everything